Going live right now for Rina Bassista. She's a journalist, and Rina Bassista is going live to Paris on the phone about the recent reports of about multiple injuries, reported hostage situation in Roubaix, France. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, hello. We have just very few details so far. We hear about several people that were taken hostages in a small town named Roubaix, which is in France but very close to the Belgian border. And we know that one of the hostages, this is what the police reported so far, is a bank manager and several people that were with him. We are not yet sure how many people were injured, but reports say that some people were shot, and no organization has so far taken any responsibility for the event.
So we're talking about an event that is just happening by the moment, about the bank manager and his employees. From what you know, for the first reports that you're getting, this is happening in a bank, this is happening outside the bank, this is what exactly? An attack on the bank? Just let's try to put some order into things.
No, we don't have these details yet. The only details that we have, what the police has released so far, is that the whole neighborhood around the bank is closed. The police has closed the whole neighborhood. Neighbors have reported that they heard fire shots, several fire shots going on. Police is obviously on the ground, and this is all we know for the moment.
Yes, so again, we're talking about multiple injuries, reported hostage situation in Roubaix, like you're telling us. What is the environment in Paris in the last few days?
Well, I must say that the environment has, if you compare it to a normal end of November, beginning of December time of the year, the environment, the feeling here is quite sad. We see very few people in the streets. We see very few people visiting the big shopping malls. Very few people visiting the Christmas market, which opened on the Champs-Élysées. Fewer tourists. The only place actually where you can see people coming is the Place de la République, where people are coming to pay their respect, to light candles, or to put flower down.
Yes, thank you for now for this report. Just before we're going to Jean-Paul Naya, Amir, you wanted to react about this.
It's interesting that if it is, or had it been, a regular bank robbery, we wouldn't have paid attention. This is criminal. And in Brussels too, one terrorist or one cell of terrorists can lock down the city, the capital of Belgium and of Europe, for almost a week now. Had it been just a criminal, people would have gone out and take the risks because you may get hurt on the street every day. But because it's a terrorist, because it's Daesh, the Islamic State, people get panicky, and people should get back to normal and be cautious, still be concerned. But
you know, it's very easy. It's very easy
of
to
course
say
it's
that
easy
when we're coming here, when we are in Israel, and we're kind of used to this situation to get back to normal.
You
just
can
2 minutes after.
You can never really get used to it.
Yes, you can never. But you know, routine is routine, unfortunately.
The new normal.
Status quo is status quo. Let's go right now to Jean-Paul Ney, Paris, live with us. Thank you very much, Jean-Paul, for having this phone call with us. What can you add to this recent reports?
Listen, I have very little information. What we can tell you is that something huge is happening actually in Roubaix. I don't have actual, recent news from the French SWAT. What I can tell you is that French security services, French counterterrorism, were establishing a list of priority, towns in France. And you know that now from years, Roubaix, it's a huge Islamic place. And that we have a double problem over there. We have a social problem and then an integration problem. And you know, Lucy, we have a whole story with the Roubaix. In the 90s, we had the gang of Roubaix. They were young converted, not Muslims. There were just one or two in the team. They were French origin, Catholic converted, and they went to, Yugoslavia, Chechnya. They were over there to do the jihad. It's a huge place, and actually, I'm waiting for more updates about Roubaix in
Yeah, I'm getting
minutes.
more and more updates by the minute now for what we're getting. Some people are saying that it's maybe criminal basis. It's on
It can be.
Just some kind of a certain situation, because we just been reported that it's in a bank and it's a manager of a bank
Yeah.
with his employees. So maybe it
Yeah.
is. But this is maybe exactly the panic that Amir Oren here spoke about, that every single situation that is happening right now in Europe, immediately all the security just jumps and just maybe this is maybe Jean-Paul, I'm not
Maybe.
living in Paris and I cannot even imagine, or maybe I can, how to do the Parisian feel and how do the French people feel. But I'm thinking to myself, maybe just putting all this panic outside and showing this panic outside, maybe this is actually playing to the hands of ISIS. Maybe this is not the message that French country, that a French city, that the French people want to send to these terrorists.
Yes, you're right, Lucy. We don't have to go down to something like general cycles. But please keep in mind that in France we have a particular, history with the Islamic, as we call Islamic gangs. It's between criminality and terrorism in Roubaix, especially in Roubaix, because in the 90s, I told you, the gang of Roubaix, they started using, attacking banks, attacking people. They were to attack policemen, to get weapons. And they just started to be the first jihadists in France to try to, to finance the jihad to Yugoslavia, to Chechnya, using regular criminal ways. You know what I mean? And that's a huge problem for security services in France. This place of Roubaix is full of criminals. It's full of Islamic, guys that they want war, and it's. I told you a few days ago, last week, that in some ways it's very difficult in France for a terrorist to get weapons to do an attack, because everything is controlled by criminality.
Yeah, I will just say, Jean-Paul, that more and more reports emerge and that are indicating that it is a criminal situation about maybe a robbery that went wrong. But again, this is exactly puts the, we spoke about it last time, Jean-Paul, about the fact that maybe the majority of the people who want peace, the majority of the people of the, let's say, Muslim French community is going to pay the price for these exact actions, and maybe at the end of the day it will put more hatred, and we just spoke about it concerning the Israelis and the Palestinians. It will put more hatred in the French society and in Europe in general.
Yeah, and Lucy, we have to keep in mind something very important for the Israelis to understand, the people in Mashrek, in Maghreb. They have to understand something about us in France, that we never cleaned up the criminality in those suburbs. We didn't, integrate, make some Republican integration. We left, and I told you, I'm telling you, and I did told you this last week about the integration in France. I worked in those suburbs. I was helping young people to go to the sports, to do something well about, their lives, to think about working, don't go to sell drugs and everything. So we just now see, Lucy, here in France, something huge is that, okay, now we should try to start. I'm telling you, try to start to clean, and cleaning sometimes it's impossible to do a cleaning without pain.
Yeah.
And that's our problem in France.
Jean-Paul, it's always a pleasure talking with you at any time. Thank you very much for this and for being with us on air. I will just say that France 2 is confirming that it's a criminal situation and probably a robbery that went wrong. Some reports are saying that children are also involved in this specific incident.
You see the irony that if it's only criminal, there is a sigh of relief. The impact on the ground is identical. People are hurt. But, if it's only criminal, we can understand that. But even though...
We're actually going, it's also wrong, but by what we are doing in the media.
But politically, the impact, in addition to what will happen in the elections, the impact is that there will be more domestic readiness to accept a military move abroad, because France has not been too proactive abroad militarily. And now, after these 2 weeks in France and in Belgium, perhaps European public opinion is shifting towards the acceptance of a major military move against ISIS in its home base.
How do you see this situation, Mr.
I see it's very natural. It's very, every human being is afraid. Terror is frightening, and I understand it very much. They are not used to it. You are absolutely right. We got used to it every day, every year, every day, another to our big sorrow.
But isn't it really unfortunate that we got used to it, that we are saying, okay, it's becoming, it's starting to be a status quo, it's starting to be the routine.
Of course, it's not a routine, it's much worse than it. We have to stop all this chaos here.
But
we have to stop it, and the only way to stop it is to understand that we have to do a big thing here.
But this is
think out of the, out of the box.
No, but this is human nature. Politics aside, take the most amazing thing, like 9/11, everything that happened on that day. Once it happened, human nature is to accept it as inevitable, because it did happen. A day earlier, you couldn't have imagined it happening. Now that it has happened, we accept it. Otherwise, we couldn't have survived in the world.
Yes, gentlemen, thank you very much for being with me in this a little bit extended section of the third part of the news today. Our viewers, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Of course, we will continue updating you about the recent events and more from the Jaffa Port Israel half-piece. Have a great night.